Solana just cannot be stopped. It seems to be acting differently from just about every other coin out there. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. I'm looking at the daily chart for Solana, and once again, we are above the 100 mark, and it just seems like nothing can keep Solana down, even though other coins are experiencing a good bit of downward pressure. And we're going to talk about all of that right now. To start with, I'm going to go to one of my favorite tools, that's tradingview.com. We're going to look at the technical analysis for Solana, and just to kind of get a temperature of the market here, the 1 day shows a buy, which makes sense. Oscillators show a sell, moving averages a strong buy. On the 1 week, we have a buy on the summary. Oscillators are neutral, moving averages again, a strong buy. And long term, no surprise here, we have either buys or strong buys across the board. Now we're going to talk about Solana here for a minute, and then I'm going to compare the strength of Solana to some of the other coins out there, and let's just see what we see. Back in October, Solana was around 20, and we had this fantastic run up between October and December across all of crypto, but Solana never stopped. Other coins made highs. Let's see, is this the November high? Here's the December high. Other coins like ADA made a November high and then went and made a December high in the early part of December and still have not broken that high. VET is another coin that I follow that did similarly, actually VET didn't. Doge is another one that made a high in December and did not break its high, has not broken its high yet. Solana has been a unicorn. It has been unique in that here is its first part of December high. And then it said, that's not enough. I'm going to make another high in December. Excuse me. And then I've got another high right here from 75 to 125 is what Solana went to in about, about 5 days toward the last part of December. Ever since then, Solana has been giving back some of its gains, which, as you might imagine, is completely natural after such a run up. When any financial instrument goes up 5 and 6 times in about 2.5 months, well, you should expect it to give back some gains, and that's what it's been doing along with most of crypto over January. We even have, well, let's talk about a couple things. First was this very elevated channel. Look at the angle on that, almost a 45-degree angle from higher lows and higher highs that ran us from November all the way up. It even poked out toward the top, actually burst out toward the top around Christmas Day. Now, we've since given those gains back and have come back inside this channel. And it seems this channel still seems to be holding very nicely. In fact, we've not even touched the bottom of the channel. And seems like we're continuing on the path. Now, here's how I was going to compare Solana to some of the other coins. You see this downtrend we have right here, noted by these wicks, okay? That downtrend is across many of the altcoins. ADA has a downtrend. Doge has a downtrend. Looks like I have either deleted it or not redrawn it. It's got a downtrend there. Not hard to see. VET, downtrend. Avalanche, downtrend. Matic, downtrend, and so on and so forth. I see these patterns from the videos I make. Let's go back to Solana. Downtrend, broken. That is broken. So far, we have broken this downtrend. Now, I've been saying that Bitcoin has been putting the pressure on these coins, and it has. After the ETF was approved, we've seen a big pullback of, 8 to 9% on Bitcoin from about 49,000 to 42-ish is where we are right now. And my guess is that we're either going to fall out of the bottom of this channel and hit 40, or we're going to do something like pop up to 44.5 to 45 and then pop back down and hit 40. My guess, could be wrong, is that we're going to hit 40 before we break new highs. I think that's fairly certain. Why? Well, there's just really no impetus to, is that the right word? I keep trying to use that word, but I'm not sure if it's the right word. There's no reason, there's no momentum. I need to look that up. But there's no reason for Bitcoin to just go back up. We had this fantastic rise over the past 2 months. We've had the approval of the ETF. There's really nothing positive, not that there's anything negative, but there's nothing positive we're looking forward to right now, except maybe the halving coming up in April, which is still a bit far away. So it would make sense that Bitcoin would go ahead and tag 40,000 because there's really nothing to give it its upward momentum into 50. Okay. And I've been using that as a reason why these altcoins, these coins, we're seeing a drop in the this downward trend line. Solana, there's still the trend line. I mean, you can clearly see the trend line, but the last day or so, it has broken it. It's closed outside of it. And who knows if this thing's going to go down and then just continue back up in this channel. Solana has been doing that. Link is also another unicorn, and that it really doesn't even have its own trend line down. So those are two coins that until there's a reason for it to go down, they just keep going up. And Solana is the stronger of the two. So what is Solana going to do? Apparently, it's going to keep going up because that's just what it keeps doing. I'm looking for some reason for it to fall. Hey, Bitcoin's going to make it fall. So, it's just going to continue to give back some of its gains. It can't keep going up forever. But if you look at this range, and it's a big range, there's no doubt, 75 to 125, that's a pretty big range. But I would be afraid to draw any lines right here because I just don't know that they'd be useful. Like, I could draw some resistance lines right here. Maybe even here is probably where I draw it. Why there? Well, because it's the bottom of this. It's the bottom of this. It's the bottom of this. So it's an art, not a science. Somewhere around here, maybe 86 and a half might be where I would draw some resistance lines. Let me see what that looks like. What was that, 86 and a half? What does that look like on the weekly? Does it run into anything? Not really. Yeah, that line doesn't mean a whole lot other than that's just been the lows or the wicks the last couple of weeks. This is the line that means something, 75, which puts us back in that range. Good grief. If we hit 75 on Solana, you better believe people are going to be buying that up. If I had more cash to put into crypto, I am full right now, I'll put it that way, and I'm not wanting to get rid of any because I'm wanting to hold it through 2024. But if I had any more, Solana, if it happened to hit this 75, which I don't know if it will, I'd pick some up there because good grief, I just don't see how it could fall to 75 and not get picked back up and go higher. So Solana is, while I think Bitcoin's going to hit 40,000 before it hits goes for a newer high, I cannot say that about Solana. Even the weekly looks good. Look, we had this wick on the weekly, a wick and a wick, but now we're starting to destroy that wick. And if this week closes up here above 100, what are you going to say except this thing's going to keep going? Right? So if you're in Solana, you are doing well. There is only good times ahead for you. 2024 looks like it's going to be a fantastic year for crypto, really, but Solana in particular. And if you're wanting to get into more, I still think 100. If you look back next year at this time, a year from now, you'll say, wow, if I'd have known Solana was going to do this, I would have bought even more at 100. I think that's what we'll say. I can't guarantee that, but I think that's what we'll say. So even now seems like a pretty good deal. What was Solana's high back here? What's that, about 250, 267? You're still finding it at a good discount compared to what it was. And buddy boy, if it falls down to 75, if you've got some interest into getting more Solana, I don't know if we'll get there, but that's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have when your coin is doing so well, you don't think it'll pull back enough to let you get even better prices. Sometimes people have problems like that, and those are good problems to have. All right, I'm just going to keep watching Solana. Looks to me like there's nothing pulling it down. We'll just have to wait and see if it's going to continue on up. Right now it's over 100. That looks fantastic. I'll keep an eye on it for you. Y'all check back.